So here we have this VEVOR pocket hole jig. Now, full disclosure, this was sent to me for free, but the opinions in this video are my own. Alright, so starting out, it comes in this really nice plastic hard case. There's a piece of foam in here with cutouts for each piece, which I do have a bit of a problem with, but I'll get to that later. There's two different options for drilling pocket holes. I'll get to those in just a second. A handful of pocket screws and plugs. Two Robertson square heads to drive in the pocket screws. These extender pieces that are for the large pocket hole jig. Two of the same pocket hole bits that both have stop collars, and that's pretty cool because you can say set this to 1.5 inches for 2x material and set this to 3/4 of an inch for 1x material. And then this really nice vice grip clamp. Alright, so starting off with the small one, it's really easy to adjust. Just unscrew the knobs, then slide that to where you want it. You can see there's a little arrow pointing to the numbers. Of course, this side is in millimeters, and then this side is going to be in inches. So say we're going through 3/4 inch board, we're going to line it up right there, and then tighten the knob down. Then put it onto the board, clamp it down, and now you can drill it out. When you want to use the bigger pocket hole jig, you're going to have to unscrew this piece, just like this, slot it into here, and then screw it back together. Of course, it's the same way for adjusting it, just loosen up those knobs, put it where you want it, 3/4 of an inch. Take your 3/4 inch board, slide it in there. Then you can take this really nice quick clamp and clamp it down. This is also adjustable with this nut here. You can just unscrew it and then it'll fit different thicknesses of stock. Of course, as you can see, I've already used this a couple times and I gotta say it works pretty well. I did have one concern because this piece here kind of flipped back and forth, but once you get a piece of wood clamped in there, it's not a problem at all. These pieces are pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and screw them into here. Same with this side. And these are really nice if you're drilling multiple boards that are the same width, because you can set this wherever you want it on here. You just use this hole in an Allen wrench to move it where you want it. And then when you put the piece of wood in there, it'll always be in the same spot. And it's about 22 inches long, so you can do pretty big pieces with this. Another thing to mention is if you do a lot of pocket holes and you want to kind of make this a permanent jig, there's 4 countersunk holes, so you can screw this to a board or your workbench and make it more of a permanent jig. So yeah, super sturdy, rigid, aluminum construction. Of course, cast iron over here, a super nice quick action clamp with a nice big rubber end, and overall I gotta say this thing is really nice, but I do have a few problems, so let me get into those. And those problems are mostly with this case, so if you don't plan on keeping it in here, then you don't even have to worry about this. The problem is when I go to put this away, it doesn't fit because the foam is not cut out for that. When you go to put the clamp away, you have to wind it all the way back in. Otherwise, it just doesn't fit there. Now, of course, you can just take this foam out and put your own foam in, or you can just cut around where it doesn't fit in here. But I would have preferred them putting a little bit more thought into how it would be used, so everything would fit in here nicely, and it'd be super quick to take out and set up. But other than not fitting back into the case very well, I think it's a great price for what you get, and it works surprisingly well. I actually really like this jig.